Inside the Mind of an Entrepreneur with our very own Dwayne Morton.
All right, what's up, you guys? We're back. Before I did what, two interviews? So now today we're just gonna go basically on me and my topic, what I'm talking about. So for today's topic, what we're gonna talk about, we're gonna discuss. I feel it's one of the biggest game changers, and that is fear. Now, the definition of fear, I'm going to look up the technical definition when you look it up in the dictionary. It's a unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. Now, with that in mind, when you think about fear, hearing that definition, the first thing that pops out to me is it's it's not a physical thing. So with that said, if fear is not a physical thing, why fear it? You understand what I'm saying? So if something is not real, it it really can't harm you. But on the same terms, you can fear something that can harm you, but that's you fearing something that ends up being a physical thing, which ends up harming you in the long run. So I'm gonna look at, like, for an example, people will fear you fear a tiger. I'm just gonna bring out something little. People fear a tiger. Now, it's not really fearing the tiger, but fearing what the tiger can do to you. So with that said, fearing what a tiger can do to you, it can kill you. So you know what I mean? So you're afraid of what it can do and you're afraid of death. And that's understandable. But a lot of times people will take fear and they will relate it along with certain things that they're doing in life. And when I say people take fear and move it along into their life, I'm talking, one of the main things is career. And I think that's one of the fears, one of the things that actually, like, kill it for people. So what I'm going to do here is I'm basically going to try to analyze fear in my own head. Like I said, this is not facts. This is nothing like that. People can listen to this and be like, "Yo, this is garbage." Whatever, that's what you think. But this is how my head is and how I think when I think about fear. So fear, when you relate it to your job, or you want to say your career, or what you want to do, what you love, a lot of people a lot of people that have, they work for someone, they have fear that they're going to actually lose their job. They have fear that's really what the end result, they're afraid of the end result when they think of fear, what it can do at the end if they do not do what they're required to do. So a lot of times what people will do, they will get they'll get a job, they'll try to do the best that they can, and in the back of their mind, they're fearing that there's a possibility that they can get fired, but at the same time, as long as they do what they're told and what's required, they're basically good, they can cruise. And there's nothing wrong with that. What I've learned is a lot of people have their own goals, their own things that make them happy. Not everybody cares too much about career, their job, to make them happy. Now, with me, inside the mind of an entrepreneur, fear in the past, I would say I feared fear. Now I don't fear fear. I challenge fear, and I look at it as an opportunity to grow. So a lot of people, I feel, they have goals and they have things that they want to do, and they don't necessarily do it because they fear the end result. So instead of just really getting fired and being able to find another job, if you're going the entrepreneur route, when you get when you basically get fired, it's I'm not going to say it's over, but your business is over. So then you have to start something else, start something new. But at the end of the day, when you start a business, you invest all your time into it, you invest your money into it. Well, I don't know about everybody, but with me, time and money goes into it. Money is important, yes, but my time is to me is more valuable because that's what actually creates the money. So a lot of people, they will, when they open a business, they fear what can happen if they're not successful. So most of the time they don't even do it. And the way fear works to me, it's BS basically. I really don't even feel like fear should be a word. I mean, it's because it's the way we view it. I feel like in society we look at it too much as if it's like if it's not that important. I mean, you it's important to live your life and to me to take risks and to do things that better you as a person. Not necessarily play it safe because you play it safe, you can still end up on the other side. You know what I mean? It's to me, you're better off taking risks because you have better opportunity that will come across your way, and with better opportunity, to me that brings freedom. Opportunity brings you that much closer to freedom. When I say freedom, I mean freedom in many ways, financial freedom, just to feel free, to feel it's a certain feeling that you get. It's not just, you know, just like fear, it's not a thing, it's a feeling. You know what I mean? So if you can overcome fear, you can actually achieve a better feeling. So, and I'm going to use something as an example in my life that I've done, and I would say is more the game changer. Well, it is a game changer for me. Now, as you guys already know, some of you may or may not know, I have several different businesses, and I have achieved these businesses through honestly looking fear in the eyes, and I'm putting it as a physical thing because that's most of the time what people do. They act like it's a thing, like it can actually hurt them. So I basically look it in the eyes and I challenge it. That's what I do with life. I challenge life. I don't fear life. And I don't fear it because of the things that life can give to me, that can bring to me and what it can do for me, and then what I can do for others. Fear is it's just another negative word in my mind. It's just a negative word. But I've had several opportunities that arose, so instead of fearing it, what I end up doing is I end up challenging it. One of the examples is in the beginning before I actually owned the gym. I was gonna I don't ever play it safe. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't, because you only have one life to live, for all that I know, in my mind of what I think. So I'm not going to waste my time here on Earth just doing, just existing and just walking around aimlessly. So I had the opportunity, like I said, there was two choices that I had. I was actually going to do an online business, and I wanted to take the online business and just run with it, roll with it, make it grow. But then I had another opportunity of getting the gym. So there was two different things that I had. I was already doing personal training full time. So I had two choices of what I wanted to do. I went to take the personal training online, and this was way back in 2013. So I wanted to take that, run with it, roll with it, make it grow. Make the money there, meet the new people. There's so much growth within doing stuff online, but it was something that was new to me. I mean, I was willing to learn. I'm always willing to learn. I'm back at it again, willing to learn. But I could have done that, or I could have a gym. Now, and to be honest with this situation here, for me, I felt like though there was more money, more growth in doing it full time online, I didn't take that route. I ended up taking the route of a gym, owning a physical brick and mortar. And the reason why I chose that as well, both of these choices that I had was the fear of unknowing, which I didn't care, honestly, obviously. I chose the harder route, which I thought was going to be the harder route, which was the brick and mortar, the gym. One of the reasons why I felt that was going to be the harder route, obviously, is because you have an overhead, you have utilities, you have to pay employees, you have to pay instructors, you have to pay trainers. There's so much involved in it. There's as well as politics that's involved in it. So I chose to take that route because I wanted the challenge. I look for a challenge. Anything that comes across my way that's a challenge, I go for it. One of the reasons why I do that is because to me it makes me better as a person. It makes me stronger. It makes me, it empowers me. So I feel more than just a person. And not only that, I wanted to be able to affect other people in other people's lives and physically be able to see it, to see my growth and to see the growth in others. I like to be around people as well. So that's another reason why I chose that as well. But like I said, the challenges is what really does it for me. And I'll be completely honest with you. I'm always looking for more and more challenges. So from the gym, what ended up happening is I looked for another challenge. So then we have a salon within the gym. Then I look for another challenge. End up getting a lawn care business. So we end up buying a truck with a plow. Then I look for another challenge, which is the podcast. This is something that I started in the past. I failed. And when I say I failed, I know I said when you fail, you learn, but I failed and I stopped. I quit. Then I came about it again, failed, stopped, quit. Then here I am now, coming the farthest I've come, period, doing this. And I keep it rolling. And there's always a fear of, is anybody watching, or, does anybody like it? Does anybody even care? But through my experiences, I've learned, and through my growth, I've learned that, in all honesty, as long as you're consistent, it'll work out. As long as you are passionate about something, you truly care, it'll work out. As for if anybody's listening now, yo, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Eventually, people will be listening, and things will happen. Things will go up. I'm not worried about numbers. I'm just worried about me and my consistency of doing this. And fear, it's not even a factor when it comes to me. If you want to say I'm fearless, I lack fear. And that's exactly what the definition of fearless is, lacking fear, which is stupid, but whatever. So here I am doing the podcast. I make sure that in order for me not to fail, because if you want to say if anybody fears anything, and I guess you could say everybody fears something, but I choose not to, I guess you can say, use that word because, like I said, it's a negative word. But I make sure that I don't. I make sure I keep going. I make sure I keep doing this. Like I said, I make sure I'm obligated to the time. We've got 5 p.m. every time that I'm on here Saturday. So I stay on here Saturday 5 p.m. I'm gonna start doing more, which is gonna make me more obligated to do, to do more on the podcast, which is to me is gonna be really cool because this should be a routine for me, and I like it as a routine. I want to keep it as a routine. I want to stay consistent. I am gonna stay consistent. So with this, grew into something else, and I don't let fear stop me from growing. So what now has come about, some who talk to me may or may not know, but when it comes to business, I love business. I love the I guess you could look at it this way. I love the opportunity of possibly being able to lose, because when you lose, you learn. When you learn, you end up growing. So what I do like is you could take a negative and turn it into a positive. It just all depends on how you look at it. People have to understand that there's always a positive within a negative situation. It just depends on how you look at it. Most people, they once they're in a negative, they just stay in that negative. With me, it's once that negative hits, I'm like, bam, all right, I see it. Take a step back, analyze it, assess the situation, look for the positive. All right, got it. Go back in the situation. Boom, I'm good. You know what I mean? Start making things happen. So from having this podcast, like I said, I help other people out with business. So I'm actually in the process of starting creating something that will blend into the podcast, which is business coaching. And I have I guess you could say like a course which I'm all planning out, mapping out. Then I'll have it where it's like I can have a group of people which I can help. So it'll be like an e-learning type thing, but it'll be with all the information that I want to deliver to people that I feel that'll help them. And when it comes to business, I honestly feel, and just like I said, most people they fear things. They fear the possibility of losing, a possibility of not achieving what they want to achieve. And one of the biggest things that I feel will help them with that is their mindset. That's why it's inside the mind of an entrepreneur. Mindset is everything. When you have a business, your mindset has to be on point. You have to be able to do like what I said before, look at a situation, analyze it, take a step back, do all that and get in that positive mindset, then go back at it. You know what I mean? You go back to the to the drawing board and then you figure out what you can do. How to make yourself successful, how to make yourself win, how to look fear in the eye and just spit on it. You know what I mean? I have no respect for fear because like I said, it's not real and it kills it for a lot of people. But at the same time, that's a part of society as well. We emphasize fear a lot, and then it becomes people end up confusing it, and that's what ends up stopping them from doing the things they want to do in life and being the best they can be. Because you got to understand, when you be the best that you can be, you end up helping others in the midst of what you're doing. Especially when you see stuff on social media, people taking a chance, it ends up becoming motivating, and then you end up motivating others to take that same risk or even take a bigger leap. You know what I mean? And it's we help without knowing that we help, and that's through us not being afraid. Not fearing. But fear, as I said, I'm not a fan of fear. I I want everybody to, and I think honestly this would be really cool. I want everybody to basically think about something that they've always wanted to do, that they feel would make them happy, but they're afraid of doing it. And then just write it out what you want to do, and then put the things of why you have not done it. You know what I mean? And try to weigh it out. Just be like, all right, I haven't done it, and we'll use an example so people do have something. So let's say you want to go scuba diving. They think scuba diving will make them happy, but they haven't done it because they're afraid. They feared it. So on one side, I want you to put why you haven't gone scuba diving. Most of the time, like me, I mean, I don't have any like I'm not going scuba diving, but me it would be I don't know how to swim. So if you don't know how to swim, people have to understand the journey is what makes the the process worth it. So when I say that, that's what will make scuba diving worth it is I don't know how to swim, so I learn how to swim. So within the process of scuba diving, I'm gonna learn how to swim. I don't wanna I don't wanna drown. So you do that, you have a process that you go through. So you learn how to swim. All right, I have another one. Uh I'm afraid of you could be like you're afraid of whatever's underwater. So then basically what you're gonna end up doing, you're gonna end up map out where you're going to go, where you're gonna scuba dive to make sure that there is no any unknown creatures down there, blase blase. So then you got the two things, you just check mark them off basically. And you end up doing them. You end up going through the process to make you happy. And then at that point, it's like, why did you even fear it? The reason why you feared it is because you just you fear things most of the time because you just don't want to do the work. You know what I mean? You look at the negative, like I said, depending on the situation. When it comes to something career wise, is you just don't want to do the work. When it comes to something physical, like a tiger or whatever, it's just because I mean that's something you fear that because of what, like I said, what can happen. But that's like a different kind of that's a physical animal, but whatever. So I'm mostly using this, like I said, in the context of career and job or things that you want to just do in life to make you happy. So, like I said, everybody just make something, write it down, and like you should be able to look fear in the eye and just challenge it. That's what I feel everybody should do, and they should start out small. You know what I mean? If you wanted to sing and you feared singing because of you feared rejection, yo, just sing. And I mean, go through the process. If you didn't know how to sing, go to the process of learning how to sing. Then after putting that out there for people to listen to it and see what it does. If they don't like it, they don't like it. What's the worst that can happen? They they just don't listen. Like I said, when it comes to this, what's the worst that can happen with the podcast? They just don't listen. They listen one time and they're like, all right, this is garbage, and they're done. I care, but I don't care because at the end of the day, I still have to stay consistent. And there's a group for everybody. You know, there's there's always someone or some group that's gonna like what you have. So that was basically just me on a rant about fear and just just getting inside my mind of fear and what well how useless I think it is. But at the same time, but how powerful it is. Because I use fear to empower myself. If we were talking on the negative end, I see it as useless. But on the positive, for me, it just empowers. So with that said, like I always do, if you guys look at the bottom, you see that scrolling website. That's the inside the mind of an entrepreneur.com website. just make sure you guys check that out. Look at the certain things that we have on there. We also have, certain, like, if you guys want to buy certain shirts, gear, whatever, we're gonna start adding some more stuff on there for people to get. Also, you can look up the podcast on there. You guys can see the different episodes, listen to those. You can share them, do whatever you guys like. I'm gonna start adding more to the website. As I said in the podcast, I'm gonna start doing business coaching for a business coaching course for people to run through and just basically get them in that mindset of being an entrepreneur, a business owner. And that's what it's going to target. So if you're looking for something else, that's not what you want. So with that, I'm gonna start putting stuff on there with that. And like I said, look out for the gear that's on there, and there'll be new gear to come. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next week.
Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed what it's like to be inside the mind of an entrepreneur. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Inside the Mind of an Entrepreneur.